First reading. There is none like me in all the earth. Exodus 9:14. You remember that when God spoke to Moses out of the burning bush, it was to tell him that he should lead the children of Israel away from the people in Egypt, who were so unkind to them. But Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, said that they should not go. He could not spare them, and he did not care for God's message to him. Then God punished Pharaoh that he might let them go. 10 times God punished him, and you hear about 3 of the punishments today. First, how the sheep and cows that the Egyptians worshipped like gods fell sick and died, but still Pharaoh did not care. Then, how the people all had sores and boils that made them very ill, but still Pharaoh did not care. And then, how there was a terrible storm, thunder and lightning and rain and hail, such big hailstones as killed the men and cattle that were out in the fields, and lightning that struck them, and wind that broke every tree in the field. No wonder that Pharaoh was frightened and begged that the storm might cease, and said that then he would let the Israelites go. So Moses prayed to God, and the thunder left off. There was no more hail, and it was all still again. But when the thunder was over, Pharaoh grew wicked again, and left off caring, and said the Israelites should not go. And thus God went on being angry with him, till at last he came to a terrible end. I am afraid some children are a little like Pharaoh when they get sulky and say, "I won't," and if they are punished, still they won't. They think nobody shall force them, and they make themselves hard that they may not do what they are told. It is very sad, for this hardness is very wrong, and you see how angry God was with this king for being obstinate. Pray to God to help you not to harden your heart, but to teach you to obey. And do not forget and do the same thing again when the punishment is over, or it will have done you no good, and you will have to be punished worse next time. Second reading. The Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, so that he would not let the children of Israel go. Exodus 10:20. Worse troubles are sure to come when people have not taken warning by what was sent them before. Pharaoh had not minded 7 dreadful plagues, so now God sent another. He sent locusts. These were creatures like great grasshoppers. They came in swarms and clouds and ate up every green leaf and blade of grass, and made all the earth brown and the trees dry sticks, so that there was nothing left for man or beast to eat. Then Pharaoh gave way a little, and said he would let the men go, but that their wives and children must stay, and he would not hear a word more, but had Moses and Aaron driven out from before him. Then God bade Moses to hold up his hand to heaven, and darkness came on. It was dark all day, and with darkness that might be felt. Not like night, but such black darkness that no fire or candle could give light, and no one dared to move about. But the Egyptians lay still in their places, full of horror and terror, for 3 whole days. But all the time it was light among the Israelites. The sun rose and set as usual, and thus God showed that they were his people. Then Pharaoh said that he would let them go, men, women, and children, only he must keep all their cattle. And when Moses, speaking God's words, said that the cattle must go too and not a hoof be left behind, Pharaoh made his heart hard again and drove out Moses, saying the people should not go and that Moses should never see his face again. And Moses said, "Thou hast spoken well, I will see thy face again no more." So ended the last hope for Pharaoh. He was never to have another chance of bending his will and doing as God told him. Oh, let us take care not to be like him. Third reading. He smote all the firstborn in Egypt. Psalm 78:51. After the 9 sad plagues that had come upon the Egyptians, the blood for water, the frogs, the lice, the flies, the cattle plague, the boils, the hail, the locusts, the darkness, there was to be still one plague more, the last and worst. That would make the Egyptians let the people of Israel go, so they must be ready. There should be a terrible night. God's holy angel would pass over the whole land of Egypt that night, and in each house of the Egyptians he would slay the eldest son of the family. No one would be spared. Pharaoh's eldest son, the young prince, and the very poorest person's son. They had killed the little Israelite babies, so God would punish them by killing their children. None of the Israelites should lose their children, only there was one thing for them to do. They were that night to sup on a lamb, and, with some of the blood of the lamb, they were to make a mark on the doorpost. Where that mark was, the angel would pass over and do no one any hurt. But the people would be blessed and set free, because they believed God and did as he bade them.